Hey guys, welcome back to the Canuck Corner channel. So today we will be replacing these little float seats on the gl1100. This is a 1983, if you've been following the channel. So over time, when these things are in the carburetors, they end up getting a little ring on the actual end of the needle here, which allows it to not fully seat, and gas seeps by the fuel line when it's not supposed to. As well, there's this little spring that acts like a dampener that you can see here that keeps the float closed and allows a little bit of play or balance for vibration. And over time, what happens is that weakens, and basically it takes all of the play out. So I just put a new one in here. So I got these brand new K&L ones from Fort 9, which is out in Quebec if you live in Canada. So all I did was just replace the one in here. I haven't set float height yet, but look at the spring that's in that compared to this one or this one. This one has nothing, and this one has nothing. So my bike's been running really rich, and I believe that these are the culprit. So we'll be replacing them, and hopefully we'll get the bike running a little bit better. Okay, so we'll start by pushing the pin out through here. So as you can see, right now, there is no play with this float. It's fully bottomed out type idea. So we're going to push this pin out, pull it out, remove the float and the little needle, and we'll take our old one out and get our new one. And if you just take and you press on these with a little flathead screwdriver and you just feel that tension between your old and your new ones, you can feel a big amount of tension. Like this one's takes a lot more pressure to push in than the old one does, which we'll probably see here in a second. So we haven't messed with the float height at all yet or bent the tang. So we'll slide it back on over the tang, place this back down in, and then slide our pin back in. Just like that. Now, see the difference there? That was just changing that worn out spring. Look at that now. Look at the play. So how can you set a float height and have your carb running right when that little dampener that's supposed to help with vibration is weakened over time? Because look at the play that's in that now. We didn't adjust the tang or anything. That was literally just changing from an old needle to a new needle. And now it's got all kinds of play in it. So we'll do that with all four, and then we'll look at taking a caliper gauge, which I have here. So we're going to take one of these little tools I picked up at CT. So the stock float height on the gl1100s, I believe all the way from 1980 to 83, the float height is 15.5 millimeters. So that's what we'll be setting it to. Okay, so with all four of these float needles now removed, we will take and we'll set the carbs up here so we can measure the float height. Okay, so just be careful if any gas is still in the carburetors. It'll spill out when you stand it up. So you can see how the floats kind of rock there, back and forth. So we just want to have it where it's just kind of touching the needle and sitting, but not applying pressure. So we do that, and then we measure from the carb body to the float height. So you can see there, it's actually pretty high. We're pressing the float in when we do that. So we need to bend the tang up in order to lower it. If it was the other way, you bend the tang down and it raises it. So we're going to take and we'll bend the tang up so we can raise the float height. Take the pick, push the pin back out, take the flathead screwdriver, kind of set it on someplace it's more stable, and evenly press down on the tang. Just like that. And then we'll reinstall the needle back onto the tang, and then put it back into the carburetor. So when we do this too, we want to make sure that both sides of the float are the exact same. So there's no high spot. So make sure that the float's the same on either side. It's not bent or twisted at all. And we'll take and do that with all four. So this one still needs to go down, but pretty happy just with a light pressure on that. So here I'm just going over the rest of the carburetors, making sure that they're all in the spec of 15.5 millimeters. Make sure you're removing the float bends when you're bending the tang, either up or down, to achieve the desired float height for each carburetor. Alright, so we got the carbs back in the bike now, so hopefully that solves all of our issue. If this video was helpful for you guys, please like and subscribe. It was just a short video, and we'll try and do something else soon. I was going to do a video on doing wheel bearings. They were a pain, but I got brand new all balls racing bearings in these. If you want to know anything